My lack of knowledge and ignorance on the kind of foods that exist around me, what's in them, how they could potentially affect my body, how my reliance on, doctors know everything. They have the solution to a problem in my body, or skin, or body, or hair. They have the cure. So my reliance on that field and my lack of knowledge on what's in my dairy, what's in my bread, what's in this flour, and how does that affect me today in today's world. Is flour good? Is flour bad? Is rice good? Rice bad? And our lack of social affiliation, unnecessary, healthy social affiliation, all of this has led to a situation that is very hard for me and people like me to manage, because I'm not the only one. I'm not the only one, and it has been hard. And I came online because past few days I reintroduced white rice, and then I had some mixed nuts from a brand that I don't really trust. And my body has been shouting at me, making life so miserable. So miserable that I don't know if this is worth being alive anymore, you know? It is unnecessary. Some people are already quite deprived in their life. And I'm pointing to myself, quite deprived in many ways, for many years, maybe their whole life. And here comes a situation where stack more on top of that. Things that nobody wants to understand, doesn't have any need to understand, except those who are already at the receiving end of it. And you go online, first you have no idea, then it hits you physically. And then you start looking online, and then suddenly you realize, oh, there were so many others bitten before me, and I had no idea. So, why am I saying this? I'm saying this because earlier I had this assumption that every time I had something to share, a revelation in my own world, some epiphany, some finding, some thought, some lesson learned, that I would just come online and I would write or I would share. And then I learned, what a big mistake. What a big mistake. You need to have very specific audience for what you want to say, share. You need to look accordingly. You need to have, first of all, you need to have ground under your feet. You need to have enough independence. You cannot be sitting in some sort of shackles, metaphorically speaking, shackles, and expect to, let me just go online and share this and say this, say that. And even if you were in perfect situation, there could still be things that you may not like, you may find offensive, you may find unnecessary coming from this randomness. Anyway, so what I'm saying is, who knew life would come to this? A person who's already quite deprived, and not from today or past few years, from a long time, would come to a point where food is like, a gun pointing at me. All right? gun pointing at me, shoots me, and now I'm left suffering with symptoms that nobody can understand. It makes you want to go on a fast, which is again, is not easy, all right? It was certainly not easy when I was vegan vegetarian, which I still am. For the most part, I don't eat meat. I'm not really a meat person anymore. Again, for two reasons, but I'm not gonna go there. But what I'm saying is, fasting is not so easy for me. So being in fasted state is also it brings back some sort of kind of frustration. I'm sharing this with with audience that can't understand. I was supposed to find my community of fellow sufferers. Fellow sufferers. I was supposed to find it. But here I am sitting in shackles, metaphorically speaking, already deprived in many ways, suffering symptoms, having nobody to share this with. In fact, already expecting more shackles coming my way for unnecessary reasons. All right, so food has become a shot in certain parts of my body. And I don't like this life. I don't like this life. And then you go online and then you find so many others. At least they're not that deprived. They're not deprived to the level that I am or have been. Oh, I have to find people. I have to find somebody that I could share. Like today, out of 10, if my symptoms were let's just say 18, 18, I don't know what else to do. There's only a few things that I run towards because they're easy for me to grab and they help calm down symptoms to some extent. And then maybe a little bit more, maybe a little bit more. And that is turmeric. All right? Because what these symptoms do, they put disability in me. They put disability, they put malfunction in me. They make my life dysfunctional. And I'm not the only one. Others in my situation. And then you go online and then you read all these medical journals. Oh, we don't know their causes. We don't have a solution. But then you dig more and more and more, and then you realize these could be the potential causes. These could be the potential management treatments. You can manage this situation. You can manage whatever happens around here and affected me and affected many this way. So I took real turmeric. Powdered form. Some say you must not mix it in water. I don't know why, but I do. I mix it in warm water and sometimes warm nut milk. And today I took something different just an hour ago, and that is this turmeric, Quercetin, Bromelain, all anti-inflammatory, highly anti-inflammatory. highly, highly anti-inflammatory. These three are really good. I've never had this before. In fact, I just opened this bottle and I took 2 pills. And I'm not joking. I'm not joking. The reason I'm even able to talk a little bit is because this, along with, because I doubled down on my dose. So I took the 2 pills, as they said, take 2 pills, and then I took turmeric and warm water. And I took this with that. All right. And then I also took my vitamin D and B, which I had not taken in 2 days. And I think if my symptoms were out of 10, 18, at this point, they must be 8, meaning I can talk. I can talk. So it is that effective. But it's not a solution. It's just saying, let me put out some fire for you. Oh, let me put out some fire for you. So why did I get to this point that now my body has become so sensitive? That has roots in me, not in my ignorance, again, on and where I grew up. If there's a problem, doesn't matter, big, small, ache, whatever, you just go to a doctor, you get some sort of pill, you put it in your body, and there's the treatment cure. So I was put in that kind of situation a lot, and that's one. What else could be one? So that definitely was the starting point of my trouble, I believe. I took many painkillers, I took many NSAIDs, I took many antibiotics. I took Icodin, I took spironolactone. I took for face. I was prescribed, and then I was given some very strong naproxen and I believe some sort of antibiotic combination. After that, my gut, my gut, you have no idea. That happened in the US. After that, my gut screamed. It had holes. Literally, it had wounds. It had wounds. And that's only the part that they could see through the camera. I don't know where else I developed wounds. This is many years ago. This is probably 2016. Could have been 17. I think it's 16. I believe, it is 16. And then that point onwards, at that point I had no idea. At that point I had no idea foods would become a torture. Everything I would eat, even look at, sniff, could affect me. And it did. And it did for many years. For many, many, many years. Till I made just somehow wanting to make my exterior, my interior feel better. And I discovered books. How? By spending time in a bookstore, doing my IT stuff. And I passed by books and I started grabbing one, and I discovered some doctors through that. And I started to read those books, and I discovered reading as a result of it, and I discovered writing as a result of it. And anyway, what I'm saying is, so that definitely, I'm saying that is the only reason. Because that definitely affected my confidence level. It affected my interactions, the skin situation back then. And then that affected a lot in me, affected my whole life, affected how I sat, facing what way. affected my number of, like, I would limit my interactions. But all of that changed when very heavy dosage of pharmaceuticals worked for like 2 months, 3 months, and they worked. I'm like, oh, this is so good. I'm not against them. I probably would still take some of them if I were in that situation because it was that bad. But what I'm saying is, I had no idea. I ate all kinds in 2017. So 2016, it all broke. It had holes. It had wounds, and I suffered in kind of pain that I don't think I can describe. And then I kept eating things that I had no idea I would have become so allergic to. In 2017, I moved out thinking, oh, I need a change. I moved out and I moved somewhere else. And over there, I was introduced to a new kind of bread. And I had that bread every day. Ho, ho, ho. Oh my God. That bread. After that bread, I cannot describe. In fact, I refuse to describe. I refuse to describe what began to happen in my body, outside, especially outside. Eyes, face, energy level, everything. Oh my God. I still did not pick up on the fact that I could be severely allergic to certain type of food. Why? It wasn't a common belief around me. It wasn't a common reason around me. You just eat food. All right? You have some sort of bread, you have some sort of rice, and you have it because that's what people eat. That's what we eat. Oh, ho, 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 ho. Our words cannot describe what I went through. Words cannot describe. I feel like a whole chunk of my life has been taken away. A whole chunk of my life has been taken away. A whole chunk is gone. There was a very small period in my life when I felt a little bit better because I had discovered some things. And that included long hours at the gym, light meat, a bit broth, and I wasn't eating so much bread and rice because I was working out so much. So what intense workouts do to you naturally, it happens naturally. We naturally come home, and even the foods that we really like and crave every day, the hand goes back. Hands off. Then you don't want to put that in your body. And that's what happened to me. So I was eating relatively healthier, not even knowing I was eating healthier. And that was a very brief period in my life till COVID hit and there was another incident. And then, lo and behold, here I am today, suffering and symptoms that didn't have to be there. But is this the end of life? Is this the end of life? It's the end of certain things for me. End of certain things. So, in my world, I have to imagine they don't exist. And it could get very ugly. But the positives would outweigh the negatives. The positives would outweigh the negatives. So, what I'm saying is, I don't know about you, how much you know, but foods of today, I don't know about other countries. I do know about UK and US and certain parts in Scandinavian countries. depending upon your body state, depending upon how much screw up has been there, with your lack of knowledge on what pharmaceuticals can do to your body, like they did to my body. I told you, a combination, naproxen, a very high dose of naproxen, an antibiotic given to me for a sore throat. That was the last straw. Last straw. There may have been some other state in my body that was already, on the edge. But as soon as I had this, things broke. My body just, I don't know. All right, so point is, we must watch our reliance on pharmaceuticals. We must be careful. Number 2, grains these days will keep you fat, aging, broken in your body somewhere, in hormonal problems, and cognitive issues, neural issues, central nervous system issues, mind-body communication issues, fog, depression, all of that. And we must know that the food sensitivity these days is a real problem. Could be, taking years away from your life, from your sanity. Others don't have to understand. It's not their body. You do. And it's not new. I've had trouble since my childhood. Some people would say, oh, age-related problem. People who hate me anyways. There are many who hate me. Who cares? I have hated myself for a very long time. You can join in. Who gives? A rat's ass. I'm not here to use those words. All right? I try to not let other people's junk impact my speech, especially online. When it did, it was during my extreme struggle with my own symptoms and extreme struggle with things being robbed from me. So I said what I said. All right? So, turmeric and this supplement that I just opened for the first time. I had 2 pills, and then I had more turmeric with it. Have brought my symptoms down a little bit. But that's good management. So I have to learn to remain in fasted state. And if I want to take the frustration out of fasting, then I have to arrange options that can keep me in fasted state, sort of, and don't put symptoms in me. Don't put disability in me. I call it disability. Grains, our reliance on pharmaceuticals, disability. It's all disability. When we talk about Alzheimer's and forgetfulness and dementia, age-related problem. So all of those stem from our ability to, first of all, lack of oxygenation and not enough oxygen in the body. Why? Because you're not pushing enough. Why? Because you're not in the sun, pushing your body, moving, and moving even more aggressively with time. And then fasting, and then disability. Going back to the word disability, I want to start using that word. Disability isn't just chopping off an external body part. It is chopping off your brain cells, chopping off the white matter in your brain. It is chopping off. It is disability because it chops off the white matter in your head, white matter around your neurons. What do neurons do? Communicate, front to back, mind to body, communication. All right? So it takes away your communication channels from you. All right? Because it's ruining the white matter. And once that white matter is gone, there's nerve damage. You are not you anymore. You will suffer. You will develop things that others would not understand. Sometimes at small level, big level, worst. But sometimes it begins early in life, but does not. It moves incognito. Incognito, it moves. Till one day, it's a blast. It's a blast, all right? It erupts. It's an eruption. And then it's when you realize, and people tell you, oh, it is your age. You're just old. Developing old symptoms. What they don't see is this person did not pay attention to their grain intake. This person did not pay attention to their toxin intake. This person did not pay attention to their reliance on pharmaceuticals. This person did not pay attention to their myelin sheath, the white matter, myelin sheath, all right, the white matter around their skin, around their nerves, being damaged from all these toxicity and lack of whatever nutrition you have, nutritional intake, nutritional lack of enough nutrition in the body that goes undiscovered. Everything is toxic in your body. And then you're told you're old. You're told you're old. All right? Just like I was turning on this camera, which I normally don't do, but I want to. And I suddenly saw this video come up out of nowhere. Aishwarya Rai was on the runway. Aishwarya Rai, the world's most beautiful lady on the planet, was on the runway and people were hating on her age, hating on her weight. As if age and weight, people own that measure about some person's shape, proportion, size, face shape, how big, small, how droopy, how full, plump. People own that. As if people own that. All right? As if that doesn't happen to them. As if that hasn't happened to their own bodies. As if that is not going to happen to them. Just like some foreign phenomena, some illness. Some foreign phenomena that's not going to happen to them. So people who, I was going to use a word. Okay, let's use a more civilized word. People who make those kinds of comments, you look at their own life. Watch how much time they spend fixing their own lives. Wives, husbands, children, parents, those around them. All right? Fixing something in them. How they looked 10 years ago versus today. How they will look 5 years from now. Stupidity. Anyway, so I could not find my own community to have this talk with. I could not find my own community. It's sad. All right? People like me are already on a different realm. They're on a different realm. They have deprivation. They have deprivation. I've had deprivation in my life. There's going to be more, and I'm ready for it. I'm ready for it. I'm ready for more deprivation because positives would outweigh the negatives for me. So I'm not saying turmeric is the only cure. No. But what is like, what do I use to put out the fire? That's what it is. But I don't stop there, right? There are things I have to do to make sure I prevent it, to make sure I continue to solve the problem. Problem solving. So I really like this supplement because of this combination. I've never used this. I have never even heard of this brand. It's called Vimerson Health. Vimerson Health. Hopefully I'm pronouncing it right. I've never even heard of it. It's gluten-free. I always check that. It's also dairy-free, soy-free, vegan, which is great. But I think it may have helped a little. But I also took the real turmeric. So, why has world come to this? I'm going to live a life different than those around me. Different than those who I grew up around. My life has been different from them. So here's where I went wrong. I should have taken my life, even when I was in 2017, after having had my gut broken from a doctor. I should have taken all of that somewhere I could truly seek healers, help. I wasn't even aware of the word healing, functional medicine, nutritional healing, nutritional cures, herbal treatments. It did not exist in my world. I had no idea. How sad. I've lost a whole chunk of life living in deprivation. So, I will take the rest of my life and I would take the rest of my life somewhere it is needed. But it will also go where it is not needed at this point. It will also go where it is not needed. In fact, it is disrespected. It is going to go there, and it's fine. Positives would still outweigh the negatives. All right? Positives would still outweigh the negatives. The day I fasted, which is actually yesterday, my body forced me to go on a fast. It was that bad. It was... No. You could have shot me in the head. I don't think I would have been able to tell the difference, because I would have been dead, first of all. But it was that bad. And it wasn't just that part suffering. So what I'm saying is, I went on a fast yesterday, and in that fast, I may have been a little frustrated with appetite, but there were no symptoms. No symptoms whatsoever. I had zero symptoms. So the centuries-old remedy for human body repair, prevention, it took care of me. But then I broke my fast and I had an animal product. Why? Because I was not fully prepared with, because life has taught me this. Don't break your fast with something that comes from janwar, animal, for various reasons. Okay, I did not know that early in life. Janwar, animals of today, fish or whatever, all kinds of animals of today, you don't want to put that rise of something in your body, rise of hormones, body makeup, body genetic code in your body. You don't want that, because the first thing that goes in is going to have 10 times more effect. Its effect would be raised. Its effect would be tenfold. Its effect would be tenfold. So anyway, so what I'm saying is, and then after that I had this sitting right in front of me, mixed nuts from some Walmart brand called Great Value. And lo and behold, symptoms returned ASAP. And they're still there. So, in the past, when I had brought my body to from this to kind of this, I stuck to only a few brands and only a few things. And I was not in an environment where I felt hostility, hatred. um, just bad that people have. Human life is a mix of good and bad, good, bad, and ugly. All right, so I kept myself shielded from all that. Shielded from all that. There were very few people in my direct interaction, and only those who were going somewhere every day, who were dressing up, who were going somewhere every day. And that suddenly affected me in a really good way. Okay, so, and then a lot of vitamin D. I began running in the sun because my body, I told you, my body, it puts disability, all of this put disability in me. It puts disability in me. But then I have a way given to us, a gift by up above. Fasting, limiting ourselves to only what works and is tried and true for your body. You have tried it on your body and you have discovered it and you now stuck to it. And you tell yourself, this is it. So that takes preparation. That definitely takes preparation. That means even when you're out, you have 2 or 3 things with you. This is what I would take with me no matter what, because appetite can strike. It can strike, and I could go, I need something, all right, because that can happen. So I also say this, the vegan vegetarian diet, if you are switching, having come from a family of, meat eaters and having lived a life where you ate meat, is not to be taken lightly. Do not take that lightly. Don't think I just need to take some B12, all right, and I'll be all right. No. Things I did not know about that. And what that did to my thyroid, the stacking effect, all right? The stacking effect. I did this because I still have symptoms. Sometimes I feel them, sometimes I try to ignore them. But I have to go on a fast to make them, to take this disability, to help it subside, to help this disability subside. So how do you define disability? I will end by saying this. It's not just, somebody chopped some external body part off. No. Or I can't move, so now I'm disabled. No. Disability can be inside your body. You may not see it. It can be in your intestine. It can be on these structures, the villi on your intestine, all right, taking away your ability to absorb and be a human. You just start to die, wilt, and nobody understands. And nobody cares either. And then by ruining your white matter, by punching holes in your stomach, and who knows where else, by putting acidity in your body, creating an acidic environment, not acidity, creating an acidic environment in your body. When I went through what I went through last year, and then if I ever went to a cafe or a coffee shop and I saw people with the muffin, with the sandwich, with coffee, I thought to myself, whoa, acidic. How do these people do that? How did I not? How did I do it for a while? I would grab a muffin, I would grab a coffee. People don't understand. Just 2-3 years ago, somebody asked me, so this thing about, acidic and alkaline, is that even a thing? Or is that just, some made up BS? Now I can answer that question. It depends on your lifestyle. It depends the kind of balance you have. It depends on your body state. It depends what kind of shifts you have made. Or maybe you haven't in years. All right, so I'm going to go. I have spoken my truth that I am suffering, and I would like that suffering to be minimized while I'm alive and thereafter. And hereafter. I would like to leave that gift on this planet. Thou shalt not suffer in unnecessary pains and sufferings and disabilities. Declines. Symptoms that move incognito and suddenly erupt. Thou shalt not suffer. Thou shalt be careful. Thou shalt wake yourself up. But you would not do that till something has come to a halt. A lot came to a halt for me. All right. My fasting has begun now, but I have symptoms that I would like vanished. They haven't vanished so far. I believe I'm going to begin by drinking a lot of warm water. And I did that before I fasted yesterday. I started drinking a lot of warm water. It's warm water with a new type of herbal tea I discovered. And I think that tea may be very potent. I was at a store. I saw a name I'd never seen before. And I will tell you more about it. It is pink in color. It has a lot of antibacterial, antiviral, anti-cancer, anti-inflammatory properties. It also clears out your bowels. It is, apparently they say, it also replaces your gut microbiome. Whoa. The name begins with E. I would stop there. All right. Say no to disability. Say no to over-reliance on chemicals, pharmaceuticals. Say no to... It's not about saying no. It's about being aware. It's about, monitoring, watching your own body. It's about... You don't know what I know about grains. You don't know what I know about... My body became a filter when I hit an autoimmune disorder that is rare. My body became a filter. It is still a filter. It's a good thing. It's a good thing. It's a good thing because positives outweigh the negatives. You suffer in food, incognito, till it all erupts, or you suffer in fasting, and you suffer in filtering. That's another F. You filter out. It does not exist in my world. This exists, and I'll just stick to this. All right? I'm going to go. I have to find my community of fellows needing 2 F's. Fasting, filtering. Fellows needing 2 F's. Fasting and filtering. You are out there. I will find you. I don't know who you are, but I will find you.